All right, so we'll move on to our main story now, and this is about motor yacht Luminosity. Now, we've mentioned Luminosity in a few videos. She's in Montenegro, in Tivat in Montenegro. She is, we believe, owned by Andrei Guryev, the same Andrei Guryev who is believed to own Alfa Nero, although his lawyers have denied that he owns either vessel. They denied to Bloomberg he owned Alfa Nero. He's denied it to the Antiguan government, who have now seized that vessel. And we contacted his lawyer, and he's denied that he owns Luminosity as well. But we understand, we have good sources that say that he is indeed the owner, but they are denying it. I just have to say that. Now, what we understand is that the crew who are on board, which is about 4 to 6 crew on board, they are all going to leave at the end of the month. And this is because they haven't been paid for 5 months now. Now, what happened is the original crew who worked there when the owner was placed on the sanctions, they've all left, as far as we can understand. They've hired local crew to look after the vessel. They paid them a lump sum up front to go on board because they knew there was an issue with pay, but now they haven't received any money for 5 months. So what we understand is they're going to walk out at the end of the month and leave the boat in a dead ship situation. And they've also been informed that by the company that looks after them, who we believe to be Opus Private, a Guernsey-based company, and they've told them that there's no money forthcoming anytime soon. The situation that leaves that boat in is a very precarious one. Now, what we understand is the boat has already had a temporary freezing order for non-payment of companies in the local area for fuel and provisions and stuff. But also there's all this outstanding crew salaries as well. Now, one of the biggest potential dangers for this vessel is that the lithium-ion batteries that it has on board. Now, this is taken from Boat International before the sanctions, and this is a bit from an article about Luminosity. And they said Luminosity has an advanced system comprising of 6 1,000 kilowatt generators that power 2 Azipods, as well as the hotel services on board. And spare electricity produced is used to charge 36 tons of batteries, the largest battery pack of any yacht afloat, which offers up to 12 hours of quiet, vibration-free navigation without the need to start the generators. So if you have 36 tons of lithium-ion batteries, that is a potential accident waiting to happen. Now, we spoke to somebody who has knowledge of the vessel from the build, and he said, this is a quote from him, he says, if the boat is unmanned or handed to the port, then of course she's a huge disaster waiting to happen. The batteries are always fully charged and need charging every so often to stop them depleting and subsequently dying, because they're worth millions of dollars. They also need checks twice a day to make sure no faults are occurring that can happen with any lithium-ion batteries, i.e. overheating or thermal runaway, etc. And he said she needs skilled and experienced engineers. Now, what is a thermal runaway? A thermal runaway is a situation where the batteries start to heat up, which in turn causes a reaction in the battery, which causes them to heat up themselves even more. And then eventually you end up with a thermal runaway, or what Porsche like to describe as a thermal event, which is a fire. Now, if you put that ship into dead ship situation where you turn off all the power, you've got a big tin box sitting in Montenegro in summer, which is already hot outside. And I've been on yachts with no AC, and they heat up very quickly, and they can get to 40 degrees Celsius. Now, you can imagine what impact that will have on the batteries, and you could very well have a disaster in that area if that yacht catches fire. So that's a potential situation that could happen if they don't pay this crew, or the boat might be handed over to the local authorities, but you need skilled people on board to be able to deal with this. Now, we've contacted Opus Private, as we always do, who is the company that we believe is responsible for paying the crew. They never get back to us, and they haven't got back to us about this current story either. Now, if they do get back to us, we'll be sure to bring that to you in a future video. Section on this, I'm going to break down what I think is going on the boat, and it might help you to understand it a little bit better. Now, first of all, you should be aware that the crew hired a lawyer to represent them, so they've probably got a very good deal in order to keep them from leaving the boat, because they did say to the government, didn't they? I reported a few weeks ago that the captain